FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio. This is The Odds Couple on GrindCityMedia.com. Handicapping all the football action, here's Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.
And hello, good people. Welcome to The Odds Couple. As the NFL season gets underway, the college football season has gotten underway. We'll touch on last week's Memphis Tigers, and we'll look at the NFL season coming up. It gets underway Thursday night in Kansas City and throughout the weekend in the National Football League. Lang Whitaker is here. Roser is here wearing the Jimmy G.
You know it, man. Let's go. NFL season.
Very nice, very nice.
Let's go!
Lang with the Larry David today. Love it.
I'm feeling pretty good.
Pretty good.
About college football and the NFL being back.
CJ Hurt's in the house as well. How are you, CJ? Good to see you, sir.
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Yes. We're looking forward to the show today. We'll have picks. We got picks.
We got everything.
We got picks. Yes. We did not do well. Well, Lang and I did not do well in our picks last week.
We have to have picks.
Yeah. See, I was thinking we'll just get rid of the first week. I mean, we only had three
like a mulligan.
picks. Yeah, and it was week 0.
Let's socially distance ourselves from week 1.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Lance Taylor going to join us on the show today. He's going to join us again this year from WJOX in Birmingham. Also, Lance'sLock.com, and we'll talk to him. Look forward to visiting with him today as well as we preview the National Football League. Lang, did you learn anything over the weekend from watching fanless football?
Yeah. The main thing I learned is, last year, University of Tennessee was our broken ATM the first few weeks of the season. This year, it appears to be Navy.
Oh, man.
Favored to beat BYU. I was like, I couldn't trust BYU. Man, did they lay an egg. Navy was brutally bad in that game.
55-3.
Yeah, and they said they had no meetings. They'd not been able to have contact practices, and they looked awful.
Yeah.
So
they're the broken ATM to
I
start
think they might be
to
start the season. They were terrible.
Roser, did you learn anything?
Bet unders. No spring practice. I think that was a big deal. And even I think that's going to happen in the NFL, too, not having preseason. Usually in the NFL you get, the starters will get, a game to 2 games worth of reps when you combine all the quarters, and they're not going to have that. So I think unders are going to be the way to go to start the season.
I think because of the same reasons, the thing that I learned this week, lines can't be big enough for the good teams. I mean, Clemson's a big one this week. Notre Dame's a big one this week. I think because of no spring practice, where in spring practice your non-Power 5s or even your Power 5 schools that are at the bottom of the conference, that's where they find players.
Right.
That's where they find guys that can do things for their team immediately. And then with training camp being the way that it was, weird.
Yeah.
Testing, masks, some teams having to take a week off at a time. Just everything was weird. That I think the teams that are the best teams, the best talent, I think they're going to be far superior than the teams that just aren't.
Well, what do you make of a team like, if we're talking about college, like Georgia, who has a lot of veteran guys who've been there before, but their quarterback left last week. And who knows what the quarterback situation is? How well does he know the offense? There's a lot of questions for some of these teams. Tennessee last week had to cancel a scrimmage. They had 44 people that weren't able to go. There's a lot of teams that I think they have more questions than answers. And the NFL's the same way. You're watching Hard Knocks.
No preseason games?
Yeah, those guys were going nuts not being able to have contact and practice with each other. And I think there's a lot of teams that, to me, that benefits a team like the Chiefs.
I think also teams that have new coaches, whether it's college, they didn't like Mike Norvell opens this weekend against Georgia Tech. He's a double-digit favorite, but he missed an entire spring practice where he's implementing his system and everything like that. And I think with the NFL, you could see some of it too, whether like the Panthers with Matt Rule, now there Joe Judge with the Giants. I think you could see some issues there.
I think that's what will make things very interesting.
Or Tom Brady trying to pick up a new offense.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll hear from Tom coming up in a moment. But first, last week, the Memphis Tigers opened up their season with a 37-24 victory over Arkansas State. And, look, Tigers have a running back that can go for 100 yards.
Yeah. Shocker.
I mean, we joked about it last week with Gabe Kuhn, but RBU right now. I mean, losing Kenneth Gainwell's huge, and you know it's unfortunate that the Tigers don't have him this season, but understood. But the way that they've recruited, the way that their system runs, whether it's system or players, and I think at this point with what guys have done in the NFL, you have to say it's the players that they've recruited, that you know there's another guy in line. And you're looking at Rodriguez-Clark, who is a sophomore, true sophomore, who puts up those sort of numbers. I mean, all right, maybe he's the next guy.
I thought he looked great. I mean, he wasn't – you can't really use him out of the backfield like a receiver the way – we saw Gainwell getting used last year, but he was great. The receiver stepped up. Was Dykes, his name, had a couple big catches. Like he looked awesome.
Huge.
Defensively, there were still questions, I think, for Memphis.
Especially early.
Brady being Brady happened a couple times too, like the play in the fourth quarter where he threw the interception right to the guy. There was a couple of those plays where you're like, all right. But for the most part, I thought they looked pretty good for Silverfield's first game, regular season game. And I thought they looked all right.
Well, and that's the thing about Memphis, you know, talking about new coaches, at least he's a coach that was there.
Yeah. Yes. And so he's familiar with these players. He helped recruit a ton of these players. Silverfield's Norvell was able to give his assistants raises every now and then, and that is the one assistant that he always gave a raise to was Ryan Silverfield because of what he could do on the recruiting trail. Yeah, the Clark kid, I mean, it's just another Memphis running back with a ton of speed.
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to him. Ryan Silverfield went a long time being 0-1 after his loss in the bowl game in the Cotton Bowl last year against Penn State. He was happy to get his first win under his belt.
It does feel great. You know, obviously, I'm happy to get my first win under the belt. I was the longest tenured 0-1 football coach in the country, so I had to get that bad taste out of my mouth. You know, I hate being a loser, and being 0-1 for 8 months really did not feel good. So, but at the end of the day, our guys so proud of their effort. It was a team effort. I mean, the coaches, the assistant coaches did such an excellent job with the game plan, and then it all falls on the shoulders of our players who were outstanding. They had great resolve. Again, a lot of stuff that we can improve on and clean up from, but kudos and credit to the players. Our student athletes showed up today with everything else with great focus and found a way to claw scratch and found a way at the end of the day to show up with the W.
Tigers get the W. They start the season 1-0. I think a good showing. Good showing, right? Didn't cover the spread. Didn't go over, which you get accustomed to this team doing. But I think the spreads are going to be really off here to start the season.
Yeah, I think Roser had the point, though, that the under is the play, and I would be betting against the spreads early here because it seems like teams aren't going to have the firepower to put other teams away. And even if they do put them away, like at the end of that game, Memphis kind of it was close enough in the last 3 minutes where you couldn't turn it off.
Right.
It felt like Arkansas State was going to score again or something was going to happen. And I just felt like that Memphis team, they were good, but I don't know if they're good enough right now to be considered the best team.
Small sample size, certainly, but I think the defense reminded me of a few years ago when they weren't very good, but they were opportunistic. Yeah. Getting turnovers at the right time, creating turnovers, just making enough big plays to keep the lead.
I mean, Arkansas State they had the problem of having two quarterbacks, and so they were trying to shuffle guys in and out. But also, you know, if you take out that maybe like the first quarter of the game, after that, the defense looked pretty good. You know, Arkansas State marched down the field on that opening drive and scored, and then I think they scored again on the next drive. But after that, the Memphis defense looked like they were kind of figuring things out as it went along a little bit.
Right. I think the other thing, too, with the defense that I think some people forgot about when they watched it, they were down their top three corners.
Right.
The top three corners on that roster, T.J. Carter being a big one that they rely on this year, did not play in that game. And so, like, I was sitting there at the beginning of the game, I'm like, good God, the secondary just looks awful. Yeah. Like, the players are just turned around, like, kind of running.
Well, one dude had a fly pattern, he was 5 yards open, and the quarterback missed him.
Right. And so I was like, good God, they have got to get the secondary stuff figured out. And then I was talking to Devin Walker. Devin's like, dude, their top three corners are out. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that does make a big difference when your top three corners are out. Also, Arkansas State, give credit to them. They've been a really good football team for They've had a good program for the last couple of years playing in the Fun Belt.
Yeah, no doubt about it. My play of the week in college football. You like this one, Roser? Gardner Webb. Take Gardner Webb. getting the points against Georgia Tech this week, if you can find the points for Gardner-Webb. They are 5-2 against the spread, their last 7 on the road. Georgia Tech 3-11-1 against the spread in their last 15 games overall. Gardner-Webb, the big college football play.
I thought he was the quarterback of the Jaguars.
No.
I thought Georgia Tech was playing Florida State
Georgia Tech
this
plays
weekend.
Florida State. That must be Georgia Southern.
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, Georgia Tech plays Florida State.
Yeah.
Come on, Fish. Come on, Fish. Come on, buddy.
Georgia Tech's playing Florida State this week. Georgia Tech's the play. 5-0 against the spread, their last 5 when taking on Florida State. So go with Georgia Tech. Take Gardner-Webb. They're playing Georgia somebody.
Somebody in Georgia.
Georgia somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. Georgia
up.
somewhere.
Also take Houston Baptist against Texas Tech this week. All right, those are a couple of big plays
And if
in
you
college.
see any over-unders in the high 60s, take the unders.
Take the under. NFL getting started this week. My Kansas City Chiefs are the defending Super Bowl champions. That is correct. The Kansas City Chiefs come back as defending champs. Andy Reid, head coach of the Chiefs, talks about the team's commitment going forward.
Talent creates competition, and competition creates greatness. And so it brings out the best in all of us. The guys came out, I thought, with a great attitude. They had a purpose of wanting to be better, and so that's the way they approached it. So every day they came with something individually to make themselves better, and then collectively as a team to make themselves better. Right now you're building the foundation for what's going to take place here the next 16 to 20 weeks. All right, here we go. Be great on everything you do. Make that a 10.
I saw a stat today that the Chiefs are only missing 2 players who played more than 50% of the snaps from a year ago. The 2 guards are gone, but everyone else.
That's hard for a
everyone
Super
else
Bowl
is
team.
back. Yeah.
Yep. And they paid Mahomes. They paid Jones.
They brought Edwards-Helaire. He's awesome.
Yeah, Edwards-Helaire is going to be perfect for that offense.
Yeah, it's
No doubt about
the
it.
Chiefs come back as the favorite to win the Super Bowl again this year, Super Bowl 55. Chiefs and the Ravens at minus 650. Then it's San Francisco and New Orleans, 2 NFC teams, at minus 1,000. Then you have 2 interesting teams. The 5th highest team at minus 1,200, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
And then
What?
the Dallas Cowboys at minus 1,500. Now, Dallas could be just the symptom of
Too many fans.
it's the Dallas
Yeah.
Cowboys, and they have a lot of fans. Tampa could be a matter of just Tom Brady signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Are you buying either of those?
The one thing with the Bucs, I saw another stat today that was interesting, was that their defense had the worst inherited field position in the league last year because Jameis was getting picked left and right.
Yeah.
I think he also had 7 pick sixes. Like, they were constantly kind of fighting uphill, and I think Tom Brady, at the very worst, you would think Brady's going to be a better game manager, right? Like, he's just going to take care of the ball, throw it away if he's about to get sacked, whatever. So they've got to be a little bit better than they were. And then it's Tom Brady. Like, I don't like the guy, but he's amazing.
Right.
So I don't know if they're going to be the 5th best team in the NFL. I think there might be a little of that Dallas Cowboys syndrome with Tom Brady also. Like, all these Pats fans are going to be hitting him because they're like, oh, that's our guy.
Yeah.
Tom terrific.
And he also, for years and years, with the exception of a few years of the Jets, he's never had a team in his division like New Orleans. Yeah, I mean,
True.
you play in the AFC East, like you basically, for the most part, that's 6 wins a year you're automatically given when you play the Dolphins, the Jets,
Bills.
and the Bills. Yeah, so it'll be different. I mean, look, they should be. I mean, the weapons he has with what they signed Fournette too. They got Fournette. The other big back they've got Godwin.
Allstott?
Evans.
Is he?
Is Mike Allstott there?
I think he is.
That was one of my favorite Chris Bermans. Was Mike? You're in good hands with Allstott.
Right.
That was one of my favorites. I mean, they got the weapons, and you're right about their defense was not as bad as you think last year. Jameis put them in horrible situations.
Yeah.
I can see the Cowboys being one of the better teams in the league just because off the strength of those skilled position players, right?
Yeah.
You got Zeke running the ball, you got Dak back there, and he's got all types of weapons on the outside, not just Amari Cooper, but also the rookie that they got in the draft, CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty good from a skill position standpoint.
I think Dallas is awesome. Yeah. I think it's legit. I think Dallas is awesome. Now, there are questions already because they're already have the center, Frederick, he retired, and La'el Collins is already having injury issues.
Right.
So you can have all those weapons, but you better protect Dak.
Right,
You know?
right. Speaking of Tom Brady, who we talked about, he is now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the biggest offseason move in the National Football League. Here's Brady on getting ready for Week 1.
Just feel it out, and when we need a little spark, try to provide that. When we need a little pick-me-up, provide that. I try to just get a feel on a daily basis, and I try to keep a really consistent level of intensity. I think the competition's on. It doesn't start in 2 weeks. It's already started. So every day that goes by, we've got to learn from what we're doing. We've got to, learn with each other, the plays, the corrections, all the different things that we're trying to really get up to speed with, because it's very different with no preseason games and, learning against our own team constantly, not traveling at all. So we can try to maybe take advantage of the extra time we have, because I think there is a little extra time for practice, but it's coming fast. And I think today was a good indicator for all of us that, it's right around the corner, and we're going to have to tighten some things up so we can be ready to go against a great football team.
And they got the Saints start things off.
I wonder if they're able to record other teams' practices without other people in the stadiums.
Ooh, some shade.
Too soon.
Shade.
Oh, very nice, very nice. All right, it's time to play the game that we like to play called Prop It Up. Prop it up, all right? I'm going to throw some props at you.
Prop it up.
Thank you. I knew you'd have something.
Thanks, John Budden.
First quarterback to be benched this regular season. First quarterback to be benched this regular season, Dwayne Haskins at plus 150, Ryan Fitzpatrick plus 225, Mitch Trubisky plus 250, Sam Darnold, Tyrod Taylor both at plus 500.
I like Tyrod Taylor plus 500.
I don't know. I've been watching Hard Knocks, and the Chargers, I'm not so sure they're going to be benching him anytime soon. They keep talking about what a great ball Herbert throws, but I don't know. I think he might be a little bit behind the curve there. I'm going to go with Trubisky. Mitchell.
I'll go with Fitz, just because they got to get Tua out there, right?
Get Tua out there.
Is he healthy enough?
Yeah, they said he's fully healthy now. Yeah.
When's he going to be? Yeah. Which second-year quarterback will win more games? Daniel Jones, Kyler Murray, Drew Lock, Dwayne Haskins.
Kyler Murray.
Drew Lock.
See?
Daniel Jones is the favorite at plus 150.
I say that because
Miller maybe.
Yeah, you could say Daniel Jones is that doesn't surprise me, because that is a weaker division. You have the Washington football team, who is god awful. You should get 2 wins right there.
Yeah, Dwayne Haskins at plus 500 is not
and
winning that.
The Eagles, Carson Wentz gets hurt every year. If Carson Wentz gets hurt and they got to bring in the 45-year-old who's not even there in Philly, he's in who's it, McCown?
Yeah.
So if that guy ends up having to play, then you can beat the Eagles. I get the Daniel Jones. Kyler Murray, a lot of Arizona's they're a really trendy pick right now, but I think the problem is that the Rams are still probably an 8-8, 9-7 team, and Seattle and San Francisco are their better teams. That being said, they give us nightmares, but we are better teams. I think the division's harder.
Will Ryan Fitzpatrick be benched during the regular season? I think the easy answer is yes. But it's minus 900. I mean, he will be benched.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to bet 900 to win 100.
Yeah. How many starts will Tua have? The over/under is 8.5.
Under. He'll probably get hurt.
Is it under because he doesn't start soon enough, or under because
he gets hurt?
Maybe both.
I hope he doesn't.
I would go under because he gets hurt.
Yeah, I'd love Tua, but
he's injury prone.
Yeah. Have we ever seen him go 8.5 straight games without getting hurt?
And that offensive line in Miami is if I was him, I wouldn't be itching to get out there.
Will Dwayne Haskins be benched during the regular season? Yes, is minus 400.
No.
Well, he just sucks. So
I don't think he'll get benched. Well, the team's a dumpster fire. I don't think he's going to get benched because who are they going to put in?
Alex Smith,
right?
Yeah.
If they want to win games, win some games, you play Alex Smith.
Can Alex Smith move?
He'll at least he's resumed football activities. Yeah.
Can he move though? When his son was running up to hit him in the face with that balloon or whatever it was, he looked like he was struggling to avoid the pressure.
I think Alex Smith standing still in the shotgun, not even being able to go into a 3-step drop, is still better than anything Dwayne Haskins gives you.
Wow.
I think Dwayne Haskins is the worst quarterback in the NFL.
My goodness.
You got to get him a Haskins Washington Football Club jersey.
Will Mitch Trubisky be benched?
Yes.
That's minus 140.
Yes.
That one's easy too, right?
I say first month of the season.
Justin Herbert, over under 6.5 starts.
We need to get you a Trubisky jersey.
Yeah, no
you get me a Haskins, you get a Trubisky.
His problem, I've said it all along, as soon as he started going by Mitchell Trubisky, it all went downhill. When he was in college, he was Mitch Trubisky. That's a great quarterback name. Then he gets in the pros and he tries to change it up.
Yeah, didn't work.
Never worked out.
Justin Herbert, over or under 6.5 starts?
Over.
I think that's probably.
I think
he probably starts at 8.
I think Herbert is starting by week 5.
I'm with you. Will Cam Newton be benched during the regular season?
No.
Why would he?
Dude, they can win that division.
Yeah.
Like, Buffalo's it.
Maybe
that's all you got to beat is Buffalo.
He might outdress Belichick.
This is yes. This is one of my favorites. How many interceptions will Cam Newton throw in week 1? Over under is 1.
Yeah. Who are they playing?
New England is.
They play the Dolphins.
Yes.
Yeah,
Play
I'll take
Miami.
the under.
Will Derek Carr be benched this season?
No.
Nah.
No is plus
Who
110.
else do they have? Who's their option?
Yes, minus 150.
Mariota.
It's
Mariota.
He's hurt.
Well, yeah, and
Yeah.
even if he was healthy, he'd come in and get hurt.
Will Aaron Rodgers be the Packers starting quarterback week 1 of next season?
That's a good question. I think no. I mean, it's crazy that they went 13-3 a year ago, and then they draft a quarterback in the first round. I mean, clearly they want to play the guy, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, and Rodgers is how old now? 37, 8, something like that?
He's old, yeah.
So,
Still good, though. He
yeah,
can play.
but I mean, Brady's still good. They moved on. So, at some point they're going to move on. I think maybe this is the farewell tour for Rodgers.
And then they're going to turn it over to Jordan. What's love got to do with it?
Exactly.
Try to do Chris Berman.
That's very nice. Phil Rivers starting for the Colts week 1 next season.
No.
The Colts.
I mean, he's.
Yeah.
I think he's there this 1 year.
No
think
is
so.
plus 110. How about that? Will Tom Brady retire after the year?
We'll see if Aaron Rodgers is available. Then maybe he goes to Indianapolis.
All these old guys retired to Florida.
or maybe Aaron Luck or Andrew Luck.
Maybe
Luck
he
wants to
comes
come-
back.
maybe
He
he
might
wants
be
to come
back.
Tom Brady's not retiring after this year.
I don't think so.
And
He's
not
going to
unless
try to
he
play until he's
suffers-
50.
Yeah, not unless he suffers a major TB12.
True
TB12 method.
Drew Brees,
No, Breeze
about
is
him?
still good.
What about Breeze?
will he retire?
No.
No is
Although
plus.
he doesn't
Lang
have a-
hopes so.
No's plus 150.
He should have retired. Doesn't Breeze already have a deal with NBC? Like
He does have. Yeah, I think he does.
He already has
yeah.
like a post.
If you think no on Brees, plus 150 for you.
Huh.
So go for that. Belichick's he coaching the Patriots next year, week 1.
Yes.
Yes.
No is plus 200. Yes, minus 250. How many games does Gronk miss this year? Over under 3.5.
Over.
Oof. What about J.J. Watt? 4.5.
Over.
That's sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, I mean, isn't that a reason
I also
why the
think-
Texans are held back?
Though with all this like stuff like with the no training camps and all this stuff, like I think they're going to probably be more cautious with players. You know, if there's any little thing, you're going to sit and especially these guys who have these long injury histories.
Yeah.
Right. Antonio Brown, how many games in the regular? Or will
0.
will he play in the regular season?
No.
Well, he's got an 8-game suspension.
Yes.
I mean, if anybody signs him, it'll be Tampa. I think Pittsburgh should get him back.
How many players will be suspended in the regular season over under 12.5?
Suspended?
For what?
For what? You're allowed to smoke weed
Whatever.
now. They let
Whatever.
you smoke weed.
Whatever.
Yeah, but we've already had like
12
one
and a half.
dude, one dude got cut for bringing his girlfriend in the hotel.
Yeah.
There's stuff going on. So
Yeah, that was in Seattle.
That's terrible.
yeah.
Wins for a team in the regular season, 13.5.
Under.
yeah, I think under.
I don't
too.
think there's a 14-win team.
Yeah.
13's usually about
Yeah,
right.
I mean, Baltimore.
Maybe the Chiefs.
But
Hey, now.
I mean, they.
That's right.
I mean, look, I think the Raiders are going to be a little bit better this year. Who knows with the Chargers? And I think Drew Lock and Denver are going to be. They could be decent. The Von Miller injury really hurts. I mean, that really hurts them.
Yes.
Yeah. Baltimore. The other thing with Baltimore, Pittsburgh's got Roethlisberger back. You know their defense is good. Pittsburgh could make it tough. Too.
I think there might be like 4 or 5 12-4 teams, or something like that.
Largest margin of victory in week 1, over under 37.5.
I think under, because this is what we were talking about, like just taking the under in general. Like teams aren't going to score as many points.
37.5. The biggest line is the Chiefs Texans 9.5.
Yeah, like beating.
By 37.5 margin of victory in week 1. That's the over under 37.5.
Baltimore's playing Cleveland.
Navy was favored.
Don't
forget.
That's true.
Don't forget.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, under that.
There you go. You're prop it up for week 1.
Prop it up.
We'll take a break here on the Odds Couple
We
here
let
on
Roser
Grind
out of the
City Media.
studio, and then
Lance Taylor joins us when we return here on the Odds Couple on Grind City Media.
I love the haircut. They tell me you've been getting beat up over it, Zach.
They say
I
look like I'm 25. I was in somebody said I was in Vegas. They said, "Is that Zion?" I said, "I paid away for little brother." I said, "That's my little brother."
Tune into GrindCityMedia.com, Grind City Media on YouTube, or on the official Grizzlies mobile app to catch Chris live or download each episode daily, and subscribe at iTunes, Spotify, or SoundCloud today.
The debate is whether he's a star or a superstar right now, which is what the headline and sort of the tweet suggests. But I'm liking that discussion right now with Ja Morant at point guard.
Tune in to GrindCityMedia.com to follow Michael Wallace and Lane Whitaker as they debate the biggest topics in the NBA, the Grizzlies, it's IMHO. Mike and Lang will share their humble opinions on the hottest league water cooler news, providing insight, analysis, and a little heat. Watch and read weekly by visiting GrindCityMedia.com or follow on Twitter at GrindCityMedia today. What's up, Grizzlies fans? I'm Megan Triplett, and I have some exciting news to share. We have a new app. That's right. It's a 3-in-1 experience that you don't want to miss out on. Check this out. The app will keep you up to date on all of the Grizzlies stats and latest news. If you're looking to see what events are going on at FedEx Forum, that can all be found on the app as well. Plus, if you want to see more of me and the rest of the Grind City Media team, like Chris Vernon, Lane Whitaker, and Mike Wallace, there's a section for all that. It is 365 days of content to keep you in touch with all things Grizzlies, FedEx Forum, and GCM. And did I mention you can also purchase and manage tickets on the app? The app does it all. Download it now.
Welcome back to GrindCityMedia.com, live from FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio. Now, here's more of the Odds Couple, Rob Fisher and Lane Whitaker.
Don't miss the newest Grind City Media show, Rise and Grind, with Jessica Benson and Megan Triplett. The duo brings a fresh, fun, and energetic double shot of morning vibes to catch you up on the latest in sports, entertainment, pop culture, and everything Memphis, with some completely biased, unfiltered discussions and a side of slightly above-average jokes. Tune in to GrindCityMedia.com, Grind City Media on YouTube, or via the official Grizzlies mobile app to catch the show live or download each episode daily. Subscribe at iTunes, Spotify, or SoundCloud today. Welcome back to The Odds Couple. Rob Fisher, Lang Whitaker with you. Jon Roser with us today as well, talking a little NFL. CJ Hurt is here as well. We're talking about some of the teams to contend for the upcoming season in the National Football League. Dallas Cowboys, one of those teams. Their over-under is 9.5. Lofty Super Bowl expectations, they say. Here's Mike McCarthy, head coach of the Cowboys, on those expectations.
I think conversation like that, frankly, respectfully, is nonsense. If you're not trying to win a Super Bowl, I don't know what you're even doing in this business. I think that's what every team starts their off season with. The ones that don't want to talk about it, they're just probably trying to, under promise, overachieve. But I've always been very upfront about it. Every team I've ever coached, we're in this to win a championship. Make no bones about it. The schedule is what it is. I'm a big fan of that statement, but we're all in a pandemic. Every coach is coaching in this training camp environment. The players are doing a great job, with the COVID challenge, and it's going to be a long year, and it's going to be a huge challenge to get that championship. So that's the reality of it.
Cowboys taking on the Rams this week in Los Angeles. So joining us now to talk more about the weekend in the National Football League. It is a pleasure to have him back at this season. He's from WJOX in Birmingham, host of The Roundtable. You can get him on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor. Also, you can check out lanceslock.com and get some great plays on a daily basis. Lance Taylor joins us here on The Odds Couple. Good afternoon, Lance. How are you, sir?
Happy 2020 to you guys. I haven't talked to you since this awesome year started. And I think the last NFL game we talked about, I had San Francisco in Super Bowl 54 with a double-digit lead with about 9 minutes to go, and not only did they lose the game, they didn't cover. So I should have known
Thanks, Lance.
that these last few months we're going to play out like this. Hey, but new slate, ready to roll, ready to cash some tickets. And it's good to join you guys again.
Yeah, man, and we're going to talk a lot of NFL, but I want to ask you first about college football getting started, and the SEC will get started in a couple of weeks, and but Memphis Tigers started last week. We saw a couple of other games last week, and it just seems to me that because of no spring practice, because of training camp being so weird, and because of really not having that environment of a home field advantage, it feels like college football is going to be a year of the best teams are really, really going to come to the surface more so than maybe even in the past.
Yeah, probably so. I mean, did you guys not think that Navy and Middle Tennessee State looked really good this past weekend?
Right.
It's going to be interesting once we get into these full, ACC conference games, which we'll see this weekend, and then the Big 12 takes off, and then obviously, as you said, in the next couple of weeks, the SEC. And it's not going to be crazy if you get a 7-3 conference champion that actually gets into a college football playoff. I don't necessarily like it, but I'm sure you guys were like me a couple of months ago, not knowing and probably leaning that we weren't going to have a college football season at all. Back then I was saying I'll take anything and everything I can get. And, this past Monday night with, Herb Street and Reese Davis on the call, it felt like a bigger game. But then when you looked around the stadium, there's something just missing. And then obviously you got 31-0 at halftime, and they ended up rolling. And it's just going to be a weird year in college football. And you just keep fingers crossed that we can actually complete the whole thing. And maybe that the Big Ten will jump in, and possibly the Pac-12 will jump in. But it's just going to be an atypical year, and we'll just have to live with it. But, we'll see what happens.
Do you expect that in the NFL for it to be as – I expect college basketball to be really weird. I haven't really thought our NBA basketball has been bad. I think the competition's been good. I think the effort's been good. I think the NBA's made it look like it's an event even without fans. But I think college basketball is going to be much different because the pageantry is such a part of it. Same with college football. But the NFL – these are professionals. They're the best that play the game. Do you expect the NFL to kind of be off, or will it be kind of normal?
It's a tough question to answer. I agree with you. The NBA has at least aesthetically looked the best. Not only just what they've done with, your fake crowd and just the layout of the gyms and just really the play. I don't know about you guys. I think, I'm really, you were talking about the Rams and the Cowboys. I'm a huge Rams guy. And, last year was not good for Jared Goff. He's looked so great in this preseason. I'm kidding about that because we haven't had any preseason games.
Right.
That's another thing. We just don't know. Typically you get, 4 of these games where these guys can work out. Sitting there looking at the games this weekend, there's some favorites that I like. We all know that most of these NFL games play within a possession. It's going to be really hard to lay 6 and 7 points early on, I think, just because I don't know what to expect. I think we're going to get some sloppy play early on. I really do.
Lance, that's one of the things that I told both of those guys when what I learned was I thought the play so far has been, if you see in college football, because no spring practice and then you have new coaches trying to put in a new system or whatever it is, when you see these totals that are like 65 to 70 or to low 70s, to me, I just blindly just take the under in the situations, and I kind of think the same with the NFL. I think you're going to, because these starters usually get a game to 2 games worth of reps when you kind of tally the quarters together throughout the preseason, and not having that, I think you're right about seeing sloppy play, and I think you could really get a lot of unders in these games.
Yeah, Roser, I don't disagree. And you look at that Rams total, if we're just looking at that game, Dallas and Rams on Sunday night, it's gone up to 51.5, which is a pretty healthy total in the NFL to begin with. But, you've got a lot of mid-40s totals out there, even into some high totals. Seattle, Atlanta's almost 50 now. And, teams like Vegas and Carolina, 47.5. So I don't necessarily disagree with that. I know people hate to play the unders. I heard as a young kid, some of the best advice I got was you play unders on televised games. Now, everything is televised, right, but typically that was a formula that would work out for you, and you could cash tickets. People just don't like playing those unders.
Yeah, no doubt about it. NFL getting started this week. One of the biggest storylines, it's got to be Tom Brady and Tampa getting a lot of love. They're over-under for win totals, 9.5, 5th best as far as odds to win the Super Bowl. Are we just Is that a little too excited for Tom Brady?
Well, interesting enough, one of his major weapons, Mike Evans, has now got an undisclosed soft tissue injury, so he's going to be day-to-day. They've still got other weapons. Chris Godwin had a breakout year last year. You've got a slew of tight ends with Gronk coming back with O.J. Howard and Cameron Brake. I think that total's about right. It's just the thing, and I know Roser kind of plays like me, when something seems so obvious, 9.5 just seems so doable, and I understand the AFC South is one of the better divisions, because I think Atlanta is going to be better this year, and obviously the Saints. But that is a fascinating game at 3:25 on Sunday with Tampa heading into the Superdome to take on the Saints, because I do want to see 43-year-old Tom Brady. And the offensive line was a train wreck last year. They were terrible against the number. But a quick little factoid, if you go back to Bruce Arians, his first season with the Arizona Cardinals, he was 5-10-1 against the number. The very next year, he rolls 11-5 straight up and 11-5 against the number, getting en route to an NFC Championship game. So you wonder how adjusted he'll get with maybe the greatest quarterback of all time. So I think the Tampa number's about right. I lean over. I feel kind of guilty because it seems too easy taking the over 9.5. But that's probably the way I would play that.
We talked about some of the props in our last segment, Lance, and obviously in Birmingham and at WJOX, very familiar with Tua and what he accomplished in college, and now with the Miami Dolphins. Over-under for games started 8.5.
Okay, so first 2 weeks, they're going against their two toughest division rivals, opening it up in Foxborough against New England, and the very next week they've got Buffalo. If they were to go 0-2, they've got Jacksonville the very next week. It seems like that might be a pretty good spot to start Tua. My only problem with Tua, he is an exceptional talent, generational talent, the most talented quarterback the University of Alabama has ever seen. He just couldn't stay healthy for a full 12 in college, and I know they protect the quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't know how healthy he stays. With that said, that's kind of a limited number. Ryan Fitzpatrick is a guy that's serviceable but also erratic. Sooner or later, Brian Flores is going to sit him. I'm going to lean over. I think you got a lot invested in Tua, and I think sooner or later you're going to see him, and I think he'll play more than half the season.
NFL Week 1. What are some games you're looking at this week that stand out to you?
You guys know I'm usually really opinionated. This is such a tough slate. I'm trying to really absorb it.
This is kind of like preseason, isn't it? I mean, it's tough without a look.
It is. In preseason, I was one of those that I always like to find out how deep coaches were going to play quarterbacks, and I like looking at those second and third quarterbacks battling for the second spot. I had some formulas that I looked at when it came to preseason, and now this is just, here it is, let's grab it. I'm high on the Seattle Seahawks this year. I've got them actually winning not only the NFC West, I got them winning the NFC, and I'm a Rams fan, so that's difficult for me to say. I think Russell Wilson's going to win an MVP. He's got multiple weapons now. Metcalf really came on as one of his wideouts last year. Now you go out and get Jamal Adams, which is going to solidify the back end of that defense. And they were so good on the road, 9-3-1 against the number, their last 13 on the road. But Atlanta played extremely well in the second half, and this seems like that last hurrah for Matt Ryan. So as much as I like Seattle, I like Atlanta in Week 1. I think that could, I don't want to say one of the bigger upsets of Week 1, but Atlanta's catching 2 at home, early game Sunday. I lean Falcons.
All right, I like it. Is there another one? We got some good one. What about the first one of the season? Texans Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean Chiefs. It's a tick under. It's a tick under 10 now.
Yeah.
Brandon Cooks is day to day. Brandon Cooks, by the way, is no DeAndre Hopkins, and that's basically the trade out you got. I know Deshaun Watson is a top 5 quarterback, or at least borderline top 5. He's getting paid like it for sure. I just don't know how I feel about this Texans team now. We all know Kansas City's going to be good. It just seems like a layman to go out and lay it. I think the money's pretty split on that game. And again, that's another one of these big numbers. Roser talked about the totals. The total's 54.5. It's come down a little bit. But Kansas City at 9, if I can get under double digits in that spot, I think I would lay it with Kansas City. And then if we're looking for, a late Sunday afternoon game, the team that I believe was the best team all year in the NFL last year, the San Francisco 49ers, obviously they didn't get the cover in Super Bowl 54, but we talk about trendy teams with Tampa. I think Arizona's another one of these trendy teams, and I think Kyler Murray, who does have DeAndre Hopkins, I think they're going to be improved this year. And they've covered actually the 4-0-1 in the last 5 in this series, and San Francisco was not good at home in 2019 covering the number. But for whatever reason, I kind of like San Francisco. It's dipped down to 7. If you can buy that to 6.5, I feel good with 49ers under a touchdown.
You can get picks each and every day at lanceslock.com. Tell folks what they need to do for that.
Yeah, jump on board. Rob, I had a conversation with you last night. I'm very transparent about this. You can see day to day. There's guys that paint every direction and make them sound like the best handicappers in the world. This is a journey. It's not a sprint. And, we had a 16-2 run in the NBA going into last week. It's been a shaky week. It's been a shaky week in Major League Baseball. We have won our last 3 college football plays, but we're going to be locked and loaded and ready to go, not only with the college slate starting with UAB Miami tomorrow night, and obviously the NFL with the Texans and the Chiefs, but we've got the NBA playoffs. We've got Major League Baseball. It's $90 a month, $3 a day. It's really simple. Just go to lanceslock.com. That's lanceslock.com. Check us out.
Sounds great. Lance, great to visit with you again, sir, and look forward to doing it all season. Thanks, man.
Yep. See you guys. Thanks.
All right, buddy. Lance Taylor joining us here this afternoon from WJOX in Birmingham. 49ers are looking to repeat in the NFC. You look at the over-under totals in the NFL this year, double-digit over-under totals. You have Baltimore at 11.5, Kansas City also at 11.5, New Orleans at 10.5, and San Francisco also at 10.5. The 2 NFC teams that are at 10.5. The 49ers did it last year, thanks really to Jimmy Garoppolo and how fantastic he was. Kyle Shanahan thought he was even better than what people have talked about.
Season, he had less games than Baker Mayfield going into his second year, and to do that with the pressure of also, to me, everyone thinking you've already arrived and coming off an ACL, I thought there was as much pressure on him at the beginning of the year as anyone I've been around, and he just took it, handled it all year, and got better throughout the year, and was very impressed with him.
Very impressed with Jimmy G. Now he's got to be better. 10.5, Roser.
Yeah, I honestly, I think we probably, it's going to be right there. It's 11-5 or 10-6. I think. I think the division's better, and I'm there with Lance on Seattle. Like I think, you could have gotten before the season. I think like Seattle was like plus 220 or something to win the division. I'm like that's. That's worth a little bit of a wager to me.
Their total on wins is 9.
Yeah, Seattle to me, they have defensive line problems, and they've always had offensive line problems.
But they're going to lose to the Falcons in week 1?
It's possible.
It's not. No, it isn't.
Yeah, it is.
As a lifelong Falcons fan, we are not going to beat the Seahawks in week 1.
It can happen.
In Madden 20, maybe, but that's about it.
They've never had an offensive line for Russell Wilson, but he's so fast and elusive. He can deal with that. They do have issues on the defensive line. They didn't bring back Jadeveon Clowney. They couldn't get a long-term deal worked out for him. Instead, they gave it to Jamal Adams, which that's great. That's good for your secondary. But if they can't get a pass rush, then your secondary is just going to be sitting out there on an island. For the 49ers, we're already having injury issues on the defensive line. Ronald Blair's out. Bosa got banged up in camp. D Ford got banged up in camp. At one point, we had a practice. We had 10 starters out last week. We had 10 starters that did not participate because nicks and whatever. Fred Warner, they got him back off the COVID list, so he will be eligible to play on Sunday. Look, they've got, you talked about continuity. They've got 20 of 22 starters remaining, and one of that coming back from last year's team. And one of the starters that's not there is Joe Staley, and they replaced him with Trent Williams, who's like even better than Joe Staley, who's like an All-Pro.
Right.
So, they're going to be really good. Again, I do think Garoppolo, I think they will throw the ball more this year. I think because of, officially his second full year in Kyle Shanahan's system, I think Shanahan will trust him a little more.
A couple of numbers on the over-unders for the season. Buffalo at 9. It's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot of Josh
especially
Allen.
Considering New England's 9.
Yeah, and it's like, how good is Josh Allen?
Yeah,
like,
I don't think he's that good.
I don't think so either.
I think he's great. That is Cam Newton Jr. Give me the over on that one.
Really?
They win the division, yeah.
You know Josh Allen sucks.
Buffalo wins the division.
The way they use
This
Josh
must be a
Allen
reverse
is the
jinx.
issue. It's not Josh Allen.
Is
If
this
they
a
use
reverse
Josh
jinx
Allen
situation?
like we've seen Cam Newton be used, somebody who is running that read option, he is great. He is big. He is strong. He is hard to bring down, and he bombs the ball. Stephon Diggs is going to be able to run up underneath that thing. They win that division.
Diggs.
Yeah, they got Diggs. But
they don't use him like that.
They'll figure it out. I trust that coaching staff, their head coaches and assistant coaches for a reason. They'll figure out the right way to use Josh Allen.
I mean, he's got a cannon for an arm, but is it accurate? I mean, the dude couldn't complete 60% of his passes at Wyoming.
Cam's
playing against talent at Wyoming.
Cam Newton isn't accurate either, and that's an NFL MVP. He got to a Super Bowl.
Cam won the MVP. I ain't going to go there with Josh Allen yet till he wins the MVP. But that Buffalo team, their strength is their defense.
Yeah.
Cleveland Browns 8.5.
Under.
I mean, that's initial thought, right? Just under. No.
Yeah.
Why? Why now?
Because they were terrible last year. Like, I mean, every time we watched them play, Baker was running for his life. Like, have they gotten really better?
They've got a better coach now. It's Stefanski. The division's tough, though, with Baltimore and Pittsburgh. Got Roethlisberger back healthy. The division is tough.
It's alive.
It is crazy. Like, what did they finish last year?
Who? The
Browns.
Browns. They were six wins. Their over-under last year was 9. They finished with 6 wins.
Okay, I think.
So you're talking about 3 more wins.
I think they're probably 7-9, 8-8.
I think so too.
I think Baker's going to be better. I think Baker will be better this year.
I can't rock with no team with OBJ on it, knowing how OBJ gets down.
Oh man.
Patriots are at 9, man. Patriots are at 9.
I mean, how good is Cam Newton? The defense is the question because they had a bunch of guys on defense that opt out.
I mean,
their leader, Dante Hightower.
Belichick called Aqib Talib apparently like this week, just trying to get him back. Like they're desperate on that side of the ball right now.
The defense is really, and their captain Dante Hightower opted out.
But they always figure out stuff, right? Like Belichick always figures out some guy you never heard of. They plug him in and they're fine. Like, what was the number for the Patriots?
9.
Who's the dude that they drafted from Michigan? CJ, you're a Michigan guy. The Patriots. They took him in the second round.
Winovich, not Chase. But they do got Chase. Oh, now that's going to bother me.
They drafted him, and it was like, who the hell is this guy? Like he didn't play a ton at Michigan or something. He was not projected to go that high, but like all reports are like out of Patriots training camp, like the dude looks great.
It's kind of like Tom Brady.
Kind of like Tom Brady.
Most passing yards this season, Patrick Mahomes, the favorite, then Matt Ryan, Dak Prescott, Tom Brady, Jared Goff are the top 5 on that list. Most rushing yards. Boy, it's amazing how we fall in love with running backs, and your fantasy picks for running backs change on a yearly basis based on what happened the year before.
Right.
This year, the most rushing yards in the NFL, the favorite is Derrick Henry.
Why? Because he won it last year?
Yeah. He also was going to get, 1 million carries.
Yeah.
Because
Vrabel's going to pound him into the ground.
Ezekiel Elliott also at plus 750. And then Nick Chubb plus 800. Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey, your top 5.
Yeah.
And then Dalvin Cook, Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon, Chris Carson, and Kenyon Drake.
What's the number on Saquon?
Saquon is plus 850.
Cool. I'll throw some money on Saquon.
Josh Uche is the linebacker, Roser.
Okay, there we go.
Most receiving yards, Michael Thomas, your favorite, plus 550. Julio Jones, DeAndre Hopkins, Chris Goodwin, and Mike Evans are the ones that follow.
Michael Thomas is the one to bet on. The guy catches like 15 passes a game.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break here on the Odds Couple. We'll come back. We got our picks for the weekend. We'll look at some NFL trends for the weekend as well. Got some good numbers on that, including some interesting Kyle Shanahan numbers. Lang.
I thought Vinny Verno was walking in.
Yeah, that sounds like Vinny Verno's music. Yeah.
He'll be joining the show soon.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. More of the Odds Couple here on Grind City Media.
Hey yo, happy Friday. It's time to rise and grind. I'm Jessica Benson.
Did you say hey yo?
Hey yo.
I'm Megan
Friday. Come
yes.
on. We have a big show lined up for you today. We've got all sorts of things to talk about within the NBA bubble, NFL updates, college football updates.
We got to get to some pop culture news. It's the music, the entertainment, everything going on.
All the stories to get you through today and into your weekend.
Rise and Grind with Jessica and Megan. Live daily at 8 a.m. on grindcitymedia.com.
In everything we do, defensive activity, offensive execution, play together, have an edge about us. Just play with an edge. Play with an edge and play together.
Durant, for Jaron, blocked by James. Dylan Brooks with authority. Tyus Jones to Brandon Clark. A turn and gun. He gets it. Jones for 3. Jones blocked by Jaron.
Yeah. Stay together, Blue. Stay together. Way to roll me, kid. Let's leave it out there.
Down the rim with elevation.
Once a week, get your basketball fix with Talkin' Grizz featuring me, Kelsey Wright Johnson, and media from around the NBA as we discuss draft topics, prospects, and more. Connect with Grind City Media on all their social channels, subscribe to Grind City Media YouTube, and follow Grind City Media on Twitter and Instagram to stay up to date with all things Grizzlies.
Welcome back to The Odds Couple on GrindCityMedia.com. Live from FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio. Here's The Odds Couple, Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.
Hey, get your daily sports pop culture Grizz fix with insider news and commentary on all things sports and more with the Chris Vernon Show. Now live at noon daily, Monday through Friday. Tune in to GrindCityMedia.com, Grind City Media on YouTube, or via the official Grizzlies mobile app to catch Chris live or download each episode daily and subscribe at iTunes, Spotify, or SoundCloud today. You can get this podcast as well at the same spots here on The Odds Couple. Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker with you. Jon Roser joining us today as we talk a little Shield. CJ Hurt in the house as well.
Did you notice, by the way, Roser, very casually during the Lance interview, he referred to you and I as those guys?
Those guys, yeah. I did.
Yeah.
I think it's the Chiefs hoodie that I'm wearing. May have done it for me.
Yeah.
The Tennessee Titans, the team down the road, they've been making some moves this week. Steven Gostkowski, a former Tiger, brought in to kick. They signed Jadeveon Clowney as well. A couple of interesting moves. Now, Mike Vrabel's team doesn't play until Mondays. They'll visit Denver and take on the Broncos. Mike Vrabel talking about whether or not his team's ready for Week 1.
I mean, these Week 1s, you try to watch and show the team, things that happen, penalties that come up, blocked punts, just missed tackles, sloppy football, turnover. We have to be fundamentally sound. We have to play, sound. And there's going to be some scheme stuff, and there's going to be some things that we haven't seen, obviously, that are new on their end, and probably vice versa. But I think that the fundamental football is the technique, the effort, tackling, taking care of the football. All those things are going to be critical.
The football things will be critical.
Solid.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Just basically what the football players got to take care of the football and play smart football to win the football game.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's what we talk about.
In the National Football League.
Or the Shield.
The Shield.
If you're, like cool like Schlereth and those people.
I've never heard NFL analysts. They always do this because they're usually meatheads. They never refer to it really as just. Pay attention to this next time, whether it's a guy like Mark Schlereth or someone. They never call it the NFL. It's always the National Football League.
National Football League.
Can you imagine, like, Jeff Van Gundy?
Well, to be fair,
in today's National Basketball Association, you've got...
to be fair, NBA analysts always call it our league.
Yeah,
they do say that a lot.
I like to throw out the association.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. There is no middle ground. It's like in the football analysis is either meatheads or nerds.
Yeah.
There's not like any in between there.
And the meatheads are the ones that get on TV.
Yeah.
Not in basketball. All right, a couple of...
Mark Jackson's on TV, so that's all up there. All right.
We are the middle ground in basketball.
Couple of NFL trends for you this week. Seattle taking on Atlanta. I knew this one would interest you, Lang.
I'd love to hear
it. Seattle's 8-2 their last 10 games on the road straight up. Atlanta, however, has covered 4 of the last 5 against Seattle, so that's good. However, Dan Quinn 26-38 against the spread without Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
Overall.
How about without a running back?
What are you talking about?
We got Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
That's our starter.
You would have loved that 5 years ago.
You're right.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
3 years ago.
Even a year ago, I would have taken it.
Atlanta has failed to cover 4 of the last 5 in Week 1.
Ooh.
And Seattle 12-7-3 against the spread on the East Coast. Seattle to play at -1.5.
Ooh.
Jets in Buffalo this week. The under is the play. 5 of the last 6 Jets games have gone under, and 4 of the last 5 Buffalo games at home have gone under. And how about this? With Josh Allen starting quarterback, Buffalo, 20 of their last 28 have gone under with Josh Allen.
Oh.
Yeah, it's because they score like 16 points a game.
Yeah.
They win like 16-9.
Right. Las Vegas, got to get used to that. Las Vegas taking on Carolina this week in Sin City. Carolina's getting 3. Teddy Bridgewater, these numbers are always fascinating. 27-7 against the spread in his career. 17-3 against the spread as a dog. Also, Las Vegas 6-10 against the spread on the road. Carolina plus the 3.
Yeah, this is something we have not talked about for the Raiders. See, all of those guys now, they live there, so they've been able to adapt. That is going to be a real home field advantage.
Well,
because those players, when they get a freaking Friday, Saturday night out in Vegas, like before they play on Sunday, like that's real right there.
It's real in New Orleans.
It's real in New Orleans.
Again,
but
at least for the broadcast.
I know,
but not this season.
I know. When the 49ers played the Ravens in the Super Bowl several years ago, dude, it was like TMZ had his like Frank Gore, Patrick, like the whole like freaking like all these dudes were out till like 2:30 in the morning at the strip club.
But that's not going to happen this year. Like you're not going to be allowed out of the hotel. There's going to be like 8 security guards making sure nobody goes anywhere.
That's true.
Well, you don't need to leave the hotel to have fun in Vegas. Like your hotel's got
Vegas
like
comes to you.
Yeah, your hotel has a nightclub. You can gamble all night. Like.
Roser, Arizona, San Francisco this week. You know the trends. They're not good.
No, we anything that touchdown or more spread, we don't cover.
Yeah, Arizona is 8-2 straight up their last 10 against San Francisco. They have covered 4 of the last 5. The other one was a push when taking on the Niners. Arizona's getting 7.5 points. They are 5-1-2 against the spread as a road dog last year. Also, more Kyle Shanahan. As a home favorite, 3-8-1 against the spread in San Francisco. So,
he's only had one good team there.
Yeah.
I didn't get to bring this up a second ago. We mentioned Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
We've been talking about how good the NFC South is. Like, what if this is the Panthers' year? Bridgewater undefeated as a starter last season with the Saints, and then he got pushed out of the way for Drew Brees to come back and lose their way out.
And they've got the ruler.
And they got the ruler.
Yeah,
they've got some stuff. Like, man, no one's talking about the Panthers.
I like
They're
that
talking
as a
about every
sneaky
other team
little
except them.
Yeah, I like that.
Matt Rule's a good coach. So I'm like,
Bridgewater's great.
Yeah.
He's a really good quarterback when he's healthy, and maybe this is their year.
All right, let's get to our picks this week. We'll start with mine. Fish is 5 this week. I like the Texans getting the 9.5 against the Chiefs. Probably overthinking this one a little too much because I'm thinking the whole your Super Bowl champs, the ring ceremony, the celebration. There's really not going to be that. They're just going to go play football.
Yeah, they already got the rings.
But it's a big number, 9.5. I'll go with Houston. Also, I'm taking Minnesota at home against the Packers minus the 3. This game always seems to go over or go under. I think it's going to be a tight game, but I'll take the Vikings with the field goal. New Orleans, I'm going with the Saints minus the 3.5 against the Bucs. Not believing in the Brady hype just yet to turn the Bucs around. Saints are a better team. I'll take them minus 3.5. I'll go with the Rams at home getting points against the Cowboys, and I'll take the Titans in Denver against the Broncos getting a point, especially with the Von Miller injury. Now, that line has actually shifted to the Titans now as a 2-point favorite. Broncos were a 1-point favorite when we got our picks, but Titans now a 2-point favorite after the Von Miller injury. I'll stick with Tennessee, obviously. Lang.
I'm going KC. I think if any team's going to go 14-2 this year, it's them. They're just stacked all the way around, and they're going to be awesome. I'm going to take Tampa over New Orleans. Who would have thought I'd pick against the Saints?
No.
But I'm going Tampa over New Orleans. Otherwise, I think we had the same picks there.
All right.
Roser?
I like the Texans. Yeah, I just buy it up to 10. So, you can at least get a push. I'll take Green Bay just because it's 3 points. I'll take Green Bay plus the points. I think, Minnesota's one of those teams, they need the home field advantage.
Right.
Yeah. But
That's true.
You can't have a ton of fans in these places. Like, what is the home field advantage going to be? I'll take Tampa Bay because you're getting 3 plus the hook. I like Dallas because you're getting less than 3. I'll take Dallas, and then I'll roll with the Broncos.
I also think we might be in for a Aaron Rodgers kind of a stick-it-to-you season.
It's possible.
He's pissed.
Yeah.
He's not happy that
Right.
they drafted a quarterback and they cut somebody the other day. Who was that? The guy they cut a receiver the day after Rodgers said he was one of the most important players on the team.
Man.
He's going to be upset.
Yeah.
And I think we might have a big year from him.
And he's got Devontae Adams, who's
Yeah.
one of the best receivers in the league.
CJ, give us your winners this week.
Whatever. You guys should probably fade everything I'm about to say.
All right, cool.
I'll go with the Texans. I think 9.5 is too high. Chiefs win, but not by 10 points. Give me the Packers. As long as the Packers aren't playing the 49ers, they're fine. And I don't trust Kirk Cousins at all against a good football team, and the Packers are a good football team. Give me the Packers there. I'll take Brady and the Bucs over the Saints, not just to cover the spread, but to knock off the Saints. Give me the Rams, and I'll take Tennessee. What's the line on Tennessee now?
Yeah, they're
Tennessee's
2-point favorites now.
Yeah, I'd still rock with Tennessee. That Von Miller injury really hurts the Broncos.
Yeah. All right, and each week we like to take a couple of picks off the board. I'm going to go Green Bay, Minnesota under 46.5. The last 5 road games for Green Bay against Minnesota, they have all gone under. Also, the total's gone under in 5 of Minnesota's last 6 games overall against Green Bay. I'll go under 46.5. And then I'm taking Notre Dame minus the 20 against Duke this weekend. Like we talked about earlier in the show, I just think the better teams are going to be just going to so far outmatch the teams that aren't. And I think that'll be the case this week with the Irish against
I just
Duke.
realized I sent you the wrong thing. I said Falcons plus 1.5. I meant Seahawks. So stop that one. There's no way I'm taking the Falcons.
I was going to say.
But the other one I was going to take is the under this week. Chicago-Detroit. It's 44.5 is the point total. The Mitchell Trubisky, Matt Stafford matchup.
Right.
Matt Patricia's involved in this. I don't know if there's any way these teams are scoring 45 points in 2 games, much less 1.
Roser?
I'm going to go with Joe Burrow in his NFL debut.
Nice.
Cincinnati is getting 3 points against the Chargers. Tyrod Taylor's not good. And so Joe Burrow in his debut, he's got A.J. Green back. Mixon should be happy. He just got the brand new contract from Cincinnati. If all you got to do is beat, I think he can beat the Chargers. Now, their defense is pretty good, but they also lost Derwin James. I like Cincinnati. I think Joe Burrow can get it done in his debut. My other one, unders. Cowboys Rams. I saw it at 52.5. Even if it's 51.5, take the under. I like 6 unders this week in the NFL.
You haven't been watching Hard Knocks, have you?
No,
Tyrod
I have not
Taylor.
watched Hard Knocks. Tyrod Taylor
Just saying.
sucks.
You always love. I mean, Tyrod Taylor's been on Hard Knocks, I think, 5 times.
Yeah, he was just on there with Cleveland a couple years ago.
love him.
And you always love Tyrod Taylor.
Hugh Jackson loved him, and then he was bad. He's just not good.
No.
Probably great guy, great teammate, just not really a good football player.
CJ, who are you going off the board with?
Give me App State minus the 20, I think.
17.
17?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely give me some of that. Give me App State, whoever the hell they're playing, they'll take care of that. Charlotte, UNC Charlotte. So give me that. And then Buffalo, minus 5.5.
Josh Allen.
Give me. I'm all in on Josh Allen. Give me all of that.
in on
Give me
Josh
all of that.
Allen.
We got a broken ATM in there, guys.
Oh, my goodness. That's
Josh
what it sounds
Allen
like.
will finish top 3 MVP voting.
Top 3 MVP.
One day.
Holy cow.
One day. For which league?
No kidding.
XFL.
All right.
I'll throw you another one here. Eagles and the Washington football team under 43. Dude, Dwayne Haskins isn't good. They're not going to be able to score. So the Eagles may win the game like 42-0. I mean, but it's going to go under.
It's going under.
It's going to go under.
Take the over on margin of victory for week 1.
Yeah, because I don't think, so if you want to take the Eagles with the points, you can do that. I just don't think Washington's going to be able to score with Dwayne Haskins as the quarterback.
I love the Dwayne Haskins hate.
You love the
Dwayne because you're a Michigan guy. He's not good.
Yeah, he's not.
No, he's not good.
Unless he's playing Michigan, then he's phenomenal.
I think Urban Meyer, even when they were going through the whole pre-draft process, Urban Meyer said you're going to have issues with him. He doesn't not one of those guys who wants to show up to practice early. He'll leave right when practice is over, and he really ain't trying to be in the film room. So unless he's changed those habits in an off season,
that's a good recommendation, huh? All right, that's going to do it for us, fellas.
SEC is coming soon.
SEC.
It means more, guys.
Happy NFL
it just
week,
means
everybody.
more.
Yeah, happy NFL season, week 1, getting started, getting kicked off with the Texans and the Chiefs. Chiefs, a big 9.5-point favorite in the opener of the NFL season. 2 games on Monday night. We'll be back next week where we will talk more NFL. Also, the ACC kicking into their second week. Tigers will be back in action as well. Then the following week, we'll talk some SECs. They'll get underway with their conference schedule only of 10 games. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to CJ, Robbie, Roser, Lang. I'm Fish. Have a great week and enjoy the action.
You've been listening to The Odds Couple from the American Home Shield Studio on GrindCityMedia.com. Tune in next week for more football handicapping with Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.